Bitcoin and Litecoin at critical levels. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Sunday. We're going to take a look at charts, starting out with Litecoin, moving on to Bitcoin. Then we're going to take a look at my favorite comparison charts, which is Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart that we've been watching on this channel since January, and why I believe we're still on our way to hit 46,000 by the end of the year. So definitely stick around to the end to check that out. Also, I want to give you guys a reminder, in the description box below the video, there are some links in there. There's a free Discord link. Best crypto community by far. Check it out. It's just a great group of people. If you want to learn about crypto or just talk about crypto or just know what's going on, definitely check out the group. Also, there's some affiliate links down there. There's some exchange links. There's a Ledger link, Brave browser link. All that stuff helps out the channel if you can use it, guys. If you can't, that's okay too. Yeah, let's get on with the video, see what's going on. Alright guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here, you haven't already, if you want to keep up with the daily updates, definitely subscribe to the channel, as I do updates every day. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos, and smash likes, leave your comments, let me know what you think of the video, guys, and yeah, let's get into it. Looking at Litecoin on the weekly, as you can see, we've been watching this for a while now. This is higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI, hidden bullish divergence in the weekly. I'd like to see Litecoin close down here this week and keep the divergence, and I do believe August is going to be a great month and we're going to see some huge gains. That's my opinion, and I'll kind of get into it a little bit here in a minute. Let's go into the daily chart. All right, so in the daily, we've been watching, first of all, we've been watching the RSI. And as you can see, we had this rising channel. We fell out of that into a falling channel. Looks like we are possibly going to have another tick down today, and then I do believe we go up from there. But there is a bullish case scenario that we come all the way down and test the bottom of this channel again. And we'll take a look at both the bearish and the bullish case scenarios. Now, looking at the 4 hour, we had this all the way from April when we had the big run up. We had a falling channel here, which we've been staying inside, and we've been following all these moves. If you want to know about them, just go back into prior videos. You can learn a lot from it. So we had another falling channel here that we broke it out of into a falling channel or wedge, whichever way you want to look at it, and came back, broke out of that, and it almost looked like a bull flag was forming here. We were going to go more up, but we did break down. There is more room to come down, guys, and this may happen today for the end of the week, which would bring us down to the bottom of this trend line. This is the bearish case scenario. We'll take a look at it in the price action, but first we're going to look at the daily and show you what my targets are here. So as you know, if you've been watching the channel, and if you haven't, I've been looking at this as a cup and a handle forming here, and the measured move of the breakout of that would be breaking the neckline of the 146 range, and that my target there is 271. Now, that's not my end of the year target. If Bitcoin does get to the 46,000, which I'm looking at, I see Litecoin get much higher between 5,000 to, or 500 to 1,000. Sorry guys, not 5,000. So, and as you can see, I have the worst case scenario down here at the 62 range, and we'll look at it in the 4 hour. We'll start out with the bearish case scenario. And like I showed you in the RSI, we do have room for another tick down to test the top of this channel again. So if that were to happen, we would be looking at the bearish case scenario, guys. And we look at it, I have this measured move of looking at this as a B, C, And if we put it up to the top of B and come down, it's around that $76 range. That is definitely possible today, guys. Before close, like I said, I don't mind the weekly closing down here. I think that'd be a good sign. So looking at the 76, if this blue trend line drawn from, we have 3 touches. We have like 3 touches down here and 2 more touches up here is 5 touches. So it makes that trend line good. So that could hold if we come down to that at around the $79 to $80 range. But if that breaks, I'm looking at the 76. Worst case scenario, that breaks and we go looking at our ultimate low, which would be 62, which would be the retesting this long-term trend line. And also we had a bunch of resistance here that would turn into support. So that's my bearish case. Now the bullish case scenario, take a look at that. As of right now, if we were to break where we're at now, if we're to break out of this channel here, this falling channel, the measured move is the width of the channel to where we'd break out. And that gets us around the 103, which would also line up with the 200 EMA here and would break us out of this channel. So if we did break this channel here, the top of this channel, I do see us moving up to the $130 range. And that would be a measured move of this larger falling channel here. The measured move of the breakout of that gets us around that 130 range. And guys, remember that when we do these measured moves, they change as time goes on. It all depends on where you break out. And it doesn't mean you shoot straight up. You know, if it went up to the $130 range, it could, you know, do something like this. It could take a while. So I don't want you to think I'm saying the candles go straight up. That's not what I'm saying at all. But yeah, if we do get up to that area, then our next area of resistance obviously is right in this area, the $146 range. And I just want to show you guys something real quick. It did something like this, and we come up here. That would be the break of that handle for the cup and handle, if it was to play out that way. And I'll show you in the, see, this would be the cup, and then the handle forming here, and that would be a break of the handle. Moving on up to our higher highs for the year. So let's go into Bitcoin. Same thing in Bitcoin, guys. I have these aren't trend lines. This is just showing you highs and lows, or actually the lows. But this is Bitcoin on the weekly. Higher highs in the price action, lower lows in the RSI. Now I do, like I said, I would rather see this close down here, because if it was to, you know, move back up here, it wouldn't be as much hidden bullish divergence. So I wouldn't be terribly upset if this closed down in this range, even possibly a little bit lower today for the end of the week. So let's take a look at the daily real quick. And I'd been saying that for the last couple days, that this weekend I didn't see a big run up because of that fact. So let me get into the daily here, and we're going to look at some longer term targets. And again, these targets are not exact. It's all depending on when we break these trend lines. So keep that in mind when you're watching this. Worst case scenario here, guys, I see the $82 to $8,300 range. Very worst case scenario. We'll go into the 4 hour in a minute and look at more immediate price action. But if I was to be looking at this as a bull flag, and remember, guys, when we're in a pattern, just like over here, the volume was declining. And then when it broke out, you see what happened. Right now, we are in a pattern again. Volume is declining. I believe we are going to have a huge move in August sometime. And I believe it's going to be an epic move. I think it's going to surprise everybody, especially the bears waiting on these lower lows and stuff. So anyways, the measured move, first of all, we would measure this triangle. This is actually more of a falling wedge here. And if we did a measured move off of that, say we broke out in this area sometime, that would be in the first week of August, which I believe is very possible. Then we're looking at the $16,000 range. The next measured move would be measuring this as a flagpole, and this is a flag, which would get us up to the $18,000 area. The interesting thing is, guys, wherever we break this white trend line here is going to be key as to where we go from there. Let's just say we broke out in around the 16,400 range and we broke that line. That measured move would be up to the $29,000 range. So definitely keep an eye on when we do break this trend line, as I do believe we're gonna, as we are still in a parabolic bull run, regardless of what anybody thinks. I mean, look how this one was back in 17. It wasn't even as parabolic as this, so until the end. So I believe this one is going to dwarf this one here. My opinion, again, guys, do your own research. And don't forget to give the channel likes and your thumbs up. Now I'm going to go into the RSI. This is a daily RSI on Bitcoin. As you can see, we had the rising channel here, which we dropped out of over here in a falling channel, broke out of it, and it seems to be forming a falling wedge here. One more thing I want to pop out or point out is this trend line right here. I also have other trend lines up top that are old peaks over here, but I do want to point this one out because this helped us get all our peak targets in the price action when they all happened. This one, for instance, was, we were calling for 13.6 on a channel. It got to like 13.8. But this one here was another one. It called, every time we reach the top of this is the, is the peak of one of these moves before another breakout. But as you can see, the RSI resets and then we go up, which I believe the RSI is resetting right now. And if we take a look at the RSI, lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price action. Hidden bullish divergence, guys. There is a huge move coming. So for all you guys panicking, I wouldn't be entering trades here if you're not in. If you're holding, I think you're in an awesome position. And if it goes lower, I'm just going to accumulate more. I still am in some long trades, which I am not worried about at all. But anyways, like I said, it could come back down and get a double touch here. As you can see, kind of got two touches each time it hit one of these, but then we rose up to this peak. So, and then probably our next big correction after our next big run will come down one more time and come up. We'll see how that happens in the price action. But yeah, that's all I wanted to point out there. As you can see, this is obviously a pattern here in the RSI. Now let's go into the 4-hour RSI. And if we look at the 4-hour RSI, I know it looks messy, but if you've been following a channel, this all makes sense to you. If you haven't, definitely, let me get this out of the way. This was supposed to be only in my daily, so get that out of there. All right, so we're watching this falling wedge. We broke out and seemed to be coming back down. We could have another small push down today, and we'll take a look at that in price action, and I'll show you the critical levels to watch for that. Let's get into the price action, and we'll take a look at first the bearish case and then the bullish case scenario. So as you can see, I have these targets in here, the 85 to 8600, which everybody is talking about, and which is why I don't believe we're going to see it. I honestly don't. I could be dead wrong. This is, again, just my opinion, guys, but I really don't see this 8,500 hidden. But I did draw a trend line off these peaks here, which would coincide with the end of this month getting down to that 85 on the 30th or somewhere in that range. Again, I just think too many people are eyeballing that, and I don't think it's going to happen. So, but if we were to get our close our daily candle today down in this area, the only reason I would see us going down to this level is if the 90 or the 9,050 does not hold. That would be our low right here. If that breaks, then yeah, we could be looking at the 95 to 9600 range. And if that doesn't hold, my worst case scenario is this trend line here, which we broke out of back in May, as we come to retest that trend line around the $82 to $8,300 range. That's my absolute worst case scenario. I know some people are calling the 7,100 and stuff. I don't see that happening at all, guys. That's why I said if you're holding here or accumulating, this is a great spot to be doing it. And we'll take a look at that gold daily versus the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart here in a little bit. But I did move these trend lines here. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 touches. So if this breaks again, then we have our possibilities coming down here. But I do believe we might stay in this range for a little while. And I do believe we're going to have this break in August. And I do believe it's going to be a break to the upside in a big way. We already looked at the upper targets. I do have this 11.3 range in here. And that's if we were to, have a pretty big move up within the next few days, get us up to this area and maybe come back down and test this. But guys, this range right here that we've been in between the 9,000 and the 12,000, I think we could have another week or possibly a couple weeks in it. So I don't believe in this huge drop people are worried about. But anyways, that's all I got to say about Bitcoin right now. That's what I'm looking at. I do think we're going to stay at these lower levels at least to close this weekly today. Let's go into the Bitcoin daily versus gold weekly chart. And if you guys haven't seen this or new to the channel, this is my end of the year target around the $46,000 to $47,000. And this is obviously Bitcoin's 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. I have these trend lines drawn in here from old support in the bear market, this white one, and then the 6,000 support from right before we broke down and capitulated here. Now I want to look at this blue line. We broke out of that and we came back down, had a wick back to test it, I guess, but we never came back down below it. This white one here, I have the same trend line drawn in gold, which we're going to look at here in a minute. But if you look at these as 3 touches here off of these supports, it goes across. And that's the one we're teetering around now, bouncing in and out of. Also, look at how Bitcoin bottomed out here. And what I'm going to be showing you guys is a pattern. If you see how we bottomed out twice on this bottom trend line. And again, we've been watching this since January, which was right in this area. And this thing, we called this whole move on this channel. So, yeah, kudos to everybody that's got in and stayed in on this. Anyways, I'm going to click over now to the gold chart and look at the similarities. Remember, a pattern is a pattern, guys, in charting. It doesn't matter time frames or anything when you're playing patterns. This, to me, is a eerie resemblance of the gold pattern that I'm going to show you here in a minute, and why I believe we're going to hit this $46,000 range. Keep an eye on the trend lines and just how it reacted, how we had the rounded bottom with 2 touches on the bottom. As you can see, the same thing happened in gold. 2 touches on the bottom trend line, broke through the blue, tested it once, and we played with this white line quite a bit. I have another line up here. I'm going to get that out of there. I was looking at it earlier. I'll put some more research into that, but I'm going to click back and forth just so you can see the resemblance and why I believe in a pattern is a pattern. And this is the pattern that Bitcoin is in my opinion. And this is where we're going. So, yeah, I really, truly believe this pattern, guys. I've been talking about it since January, like I said, right over here. Well, right over there in Bitcoin. And it just seems to be playing out beautifully. We've dropped below the 55 EMA now, but we did that over here in the gold too, right down here, before a big rise up. So I'm not concerned with that. And as you can see, the 200 EMA in gold, once it broke this, it did come back down to test it. And we could be seeing the same thing. We get a big run up here. the 200 EMA will turn up, and you know, we could come back down and test it, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. But guys, I do not see the lower lows everybody's worried about. The 200 EMA is right around the $7,400 to $7,500 range in here. That would be, you know, I would be extremely surprised if we went that low. I don't see it happening. I honestly have a hard time believing that we're going to break this 9,050 level. You know, I could be wrong, like I said, but that's just where I'm at with it. I do want to show you guys too the RSI, which we've also watched since January. And if you look at the resemblance here too, I pointed this out, and I'll get into more in a second, but right here in this area and right here in this area, the resemblance of what's going on there is amazing too. So I do believe, you know, we're going to get a bounce up from here. It's going to be a beautiful, you know, just an awesome move. And I believe this is going to play out somewhat the same way that this played out here. You know, it's not going to be exact, but this gives us a hell of an idea. Let me get this stuff off of here, and we'll take a look at the two trend lines I have here. This one right here is the bull market of 2017. This trend line, same trend line over here, bull market 2013. Again, guys, this is on the weekly RSI. On this trend line, we had two touches of resistance before breaking through and starting the bull market. 2017 bull market followed by the bear market. Two touches of resistance before breaking through. Let's look at the monthly. So on the monthly, I had these two arcs drawn in here. Again, we've been watching all this since January. This is the 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. There were 4 lows in the RSI before starting the next bull market. 2017 bull market followed by 18 bear market. Each arrow representing a new low in the RSI. I just believe this one's going to be much more powerful, guys. Yeah, that's my thoughts. And again, guys, you know how I feel about all the paid groups and people that pay you or make you pay them for their courses, or you know, just stay away from that crap, guys. There's so much free stuff on the internet, and the people that are out there selling these courses just to teach you the basics that you can learn for free are killing the space, guys. Promising people they'll be great traders. If not, they get their money back. You're not going to get your money back. And just because you watch their courses doesn't mean you're going to be a great trader at all. It takes tons of practice, tons of time. It's not, you can't watch a couple videos and think you're going to be a pro. So just don't waste your money on that stuff, guys. It's free all over the internet. Anyways, I appreciate you guys stopping by. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the daily update videos, definitely click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified every time I post a new video. Smash the likes, guys. Leave your comments. Have a great Sunday. I will see you later.